Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Harry and I'm a third year paramedic student studying at Victoria University in Australia. I'm also aspiring to hopefully get into medical school next year. Today I really just want to tell you guys why I think having a gap year, which is essentially just a year's break between the finishing of your secondary year schooling and the commencement of either university work or full-time work, and why I think that it will benefit you in the future. If you're new to the channel, make sure to check out my other videos and like and subscribe if you enjoy what you see. So essentially I'm just going to go through today my story and my experience with having a gap year, why I think a gap year is beneficial, how I think it will help you, and ultimately what I would do if I had my time differently. Let's get into it. So something I strongly believe is that we should all indulge ourselves in taking a gap year after we finish secondary school before going into uni work and full-time work. I think that's because we've been stuck in this schooling system and this strict, heavy schedule since we're about 4 or 5 years old, and we haven't really allowed ourselves to break away from this environment and go and experience new things and understand other and different ways of living. So I finished secondary school in 2014, where I then got accepted into a Bachelor of Biomedical Science, majoring in Infection and Immunity at Deakin University the following year in 2015. So I took that up and then I studied that for 3 years straight off the bat. Now that course was great. I really enjoyed it. I got so much out of that. I made friends, I learned a lot. However, because I was so young, I wasn't entirely understanding in why I actually wanted to do the degree and what I needed to do and what I actually wanted to get out of it. So this ultimately just led to me not doing as well as I would have liked, didn't quite get the grades I wanted, and essentially meant that I had to do another degree to boost my GPA up so that I could try and get into medicine down the track. This is something that I actually like to call the uni trap. And essentially we kind of get caught up in this narrative of wanting to finish secondary school so that we can get into university straight away, so that we can get a good paying job, so that we can be successful and provide for our family. However, something that I don't think people really quite grasp at that age, unless you're absolutely incredibly motivated and switched on at the age of 18, you know exactly where you're going, exactly what you need, and exactly what you want to do, which I most definitely, and a lot of people that I know most definitely are and were not. And it's that sometimes your degree doesn't actually warrant you a direct job afterwards, or that in order to get into the career that you want from having done that degree, you have to get like a massive HG average for the whole thing, average 90% for every unit for all 4 years or 3 years of it. And you may not actually realize that until you're in your second or in your third year or even in your final year. And by then it's too late, and the only way to actually start again and try is to actually do that whole degree from the start, which is adding another 2 or 3 or 4 years back onto your life, while also adding more student loans on top of that. So this was pretty much exactly the case with me. When I went and did my biomedical degree, I just did not understand what I needed to do. I prioritized other aspects of my life and therefore didn't get the results I needed, and so wasn't competitive or wasn't even in a place where I could actually apply to get into medicine. So my year off actually took place after that first biomedical degree, where I then went and did a little bit of traveling. I worked for a bit, and it was just so nice to be away from that environment and not have that lingering pressure of assignments to do or having the necessity to go into uni for practicals and classes 3-4 times a week. Like, that year off actually gave me so much clarity about myself and the world. Like, although I didn't actually achieve anything tangible, I learned so much about myself, and I grew and I developed, and I just became an overall better functioning, more mature adult. And I think having that experience, along with not having to worry about any lingering responsibilities throughout the week, honestly is just such a freeing and worthwhile experience. It allows you to recognize that there are other joys and other aspects of life out there that you may not get the chance to fully incorporate into your lives and enjoy, while having uni pressures and uni deadlines that you have to reach, each week and each month throughout the year. Now, I think as well, while being away from that constant university environment where you're not under that constant mental stimulation all the time, it can actually help you recognize, once it's taken away, that it's actually something that's pretty important to you. Like, after a while of just studying and not having to think very much, I kind of started to realize that what I really enjoyed and needed in my life was that constant mental stimulation, as well as some hands-on healthcare work. And that's what really reignited my desire for medicine and made me realize that also being a paramedic would be a really cool interim job for the meantime. So that's what then, sparked me up to apply and get accepted into paramedicine the following year, and then eventually apply and try and get into medicine down the track like I'm doing now. So now why I think it's important for you to actually have a year off is that it just opens up so many more opportunities and possibilities to you in your life. Like, you've grown up, and if all you've ever known is wake up at 8, go to work at 9, come home at 3 o'clock, do a little bit of homework, play video games or watch TV, go to bed, rinse and repeat, then it makes total sense that after you finish that secondary schooling, you're just going to want to stay with what's comfortable and fall right back into that same routine, either with an undergraduate degree in university or working a full-time job where the hours are pretty similar. And that's what's so important about taking this year off, is that it allows you the opportunity to find something that you're passionate about, or it may expose you to something that motivates you that you otherwise normally would not have been generally exposed to. Like, say from having this time off, you actually discover a new hobby, and say that hobby is like, say, a musical instrument, and you love learning it and you want to develop your skills and get better at it. And you may find an underlying deep passion for this musical instrument, and then you realize that, hey, I want to pass this on. So you start doing private tutoring lessons, and then you discover, hey, I can turn this into a business, and now that goes off, and now that's what you're doing. Or you may find that you really love teaching people, so you go and decide to become a music teacher at a school. Or maybe you just love playing, so you go and become a sessional musician. Regardless of what it is, these are all things and all avenues that have been opened up because you have taken a year off and given yourself the chance and the time to explore other interests that you otherwise may not have had the time to essentially, delve into. I'm a strong believer in making sure that what you do as a main source of income in your life is something that you genuinely enjoy doing day in and day out. And that's why I think it's just as important now, because of how young you are, to actually take advantage of this opportunity and be able to use this time to your advantage and actually try and find something that motivates you and interests you, so that you can then hopefully incorporate that into something that allows you to generate an income and live off for the days and years ahead. There's no way to know what you do or don't enjoy unless you actually experience it yourself firsthand. So take this time to really explore yourself and explore the world around you. Go travel, go volunteer with various agencies, and do things that you normally wouldn't have exposed yourself and you may not have thought you'd originally enjoy. Work full time at some job just to see how you actually like it and if that's something that you want to do with your life. Explore new people and new cultures and get an idea on how other people live. Use these experiences and these opportunities to broaden your box, and through exposing yourself to many different possibilities and opportunities, you allow yourself a greater potential to filter out things that you do or don't enjoy, to hopefully eventually find something that actually aligns with your core values and beliefs, and something that you're happy to commit your life to for the ongoing future. Now, through broadening your box and actually exposing yourself to so many different perspectives and experiences and opportunities, you allow yourself a better ability to actually filter out things that you do enjoy as opposed to things that you don't enjoy, so that you can find something that more accurately aligns with your core values and beliefs, and something that you're passionate about and willing to commit the biggest portion of your life to. A common theme amongst the entrepreneurial and productivity scene is that you should never discredit your hobby or interest's ability to generate an income stream for you. Like, there is an ever increasing amount of consumers coming online through the internet every year. And each of these individuals will be willing to pay money for something that attributes value to their lives. So all you have to do is essentially figure out a way for that hobby or interest to provide value to somebody else's life, and they will pay for it. The biggest way that I think a year off can help you is that it gives you time. It gives you the time to grow and learn and develop and become a more mature and independent human being. And that allows you the ability to make a more educated decision on what you want your future to be like. Whether that decision is taking up a university degree or starting a full-time job, it at least gives you the time to acknowledge whether those decisions are going to actually have any value on your life in the future. A way that I would view a decision like this is to view the decision as a commitment of life energy spent. So I got this idea from a book, Your Money or Your Life, by Joe Dominguez, Vicki Robin, and Monique Tilford, and essentially view the decision as something that you are willing to invest life energy. So this is energy of your life per time that you're not going to get back as it's being invested into an activity. So whether that activity is a university degree or a full-time job, make sure that that activity is something that you are going to get some inherent value out of at the end of it. So if this job is going to actually open up some further possibilities for you to allow you to progress your career down the track, or if it's just something you're really passionate about and you just want to get stuck in straight away, or perhaps this university degree is going to attain you some knowledge that is unattainable elsewhere, or give you some experiences or some opportunities that are going to be invaluable to you for finding a job down the track, then absolutely go for it, as long as they're going to give you that value and that worthwhile investment of your time that you're looking for. So now, honestly, I probably wouldn't change a thing, because everything I've done, I know, cliche, but has actually allowed me to become the person I am today, and I'm incredibly proud of where I am and what I've accomplished. Now, although there are probably some areas where I would have liked to have gone into with a little bit more knowledge and understanding of what I was actually jumping into, but it is what it is, you can't change it, and I'm incredibly happy to be where I am right now. I feel like everyone just gets caught in this big race where they have to finish school, start a degree, buy a house, start a family, and finish. And that's great, because that's exactly what I'm after as well. But at 18 or 19 years old, I think that shouldn't be your priority. I think because you have so much time ahead of you, you should use that time to just simply be present. Enjoy where you are right then and there, and make the most of not having those excess responsibilities, or make the most of having this time so that you can grow and develop and learn what you're actually really passionate about, because it'll pay off dividends years and years and years in advance when you've grown and chosen a career that you actually enjoy, and you're doing something that you like and you're passionate about, and something that brings you contentment and fulfillment in your life every day. So if I had my time again, I would almost definitely pull myself from that race, and I would have given myself a break after finishing secondary school before going into university. I would have traveled and explored other areas and allowed myself the opportunity to learn who I was outside of this schooling environment, so that when I came back, I had this more instilled purpose and drive to know exactly what I wanted and exactly how to get it. And yeah, this probably would have allowed me to do better in my first biomedical degree, and I probably would have got the scores I wanted, and I would have jumped straight into medicine, and I'd probably be in my third or fourth year right now. That would be great, okay? But I probably wouldn't be here right now doing this, making these YouTube videos for you guys right now. And I don't think I would trade this for any of that, because I think the emotional growth that was attached with all of those experiences is so much more valuable to me. And I think it's really important that when you look back on past events and think about how things could have been done differently, to really just take it with a bit of a pinch of salt. So that's pretty much all I've got for today, guys. If you're about to finish secondary school and not sure how to spend those first few years outside of school, or you're outside of your schooling already, but you're struggling to find something that really motivates you, I implore on you to really step away from your daily schedule and think deeply about what you enjoy and what you're passionate about, and try and think of ways that you can actually incorporate that into making a living. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to check out my other videos on the channel, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe down the bottom, because I genuinely do appreciate it and it makes a big difference. If you guys have any thoughts about having a year's break in between schooling or work, or you've got some experiences that you had on your gap year that you'd like to share, leave it in a comment down below and I'll most definitely check it out. Alright, until next time guys, see ya.